Ugh. Who calls?
Hi, my name is Max.
Greetings, I am Zoroaster.
Hello. Thank you for coming. So I just read a book that the Babylonian Assyrian civilization was the first on the planet, and you came very soon after. Can you elaborate on that?
I came after the Atlanteans, yes. And I was giving, I knew who they were, yes, I knew who they were. But I was not part of them, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
I did have some connections with them, but I was not part of them.
And who created your civilization?
Our civilization was partially created by them, but I was only there after them. But I knew of them.
Did you see aliens?
I did, yes.
Which ones?
I don't know. They were in the distance. I never talked to one. I never actually met one, but I did see them talking to other people at the time, and then they were gone.
Were they human looking?
Somewhat.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Did they wear beards?
Some of them.
Were they Anunnaki?
That is what I was told.
I see. And was your civilization Assyrian or some other?
They were from Assyria, yes.
What was your capital?
What was what?
The capital of your country.
Of this country?
Of your country. What was the capital of your country?
Byzantia.
Byzantia. What did you do? What was your god?
Our God was one God, but we were very strict adherents.
Was it related to Jewish God?
In some ways, yes. Except even a more strict adherence to obedience and understanding. There was a great deal of pain during our time.
Why?
Just because of the circumstances that were at that present time.
So the life was very difficult?
Yes.
Was it because of the enemies?
Because of the aliens?
Enemies of the country.
No, yes, the enemies of the country, absolutely. That is part of it.
So
I tried to stay away from, I stayed away from, well, I can't say that completely. I have to say that I did my best to keep a peaceful place.
So which countries were your enemies of your country?
Well, they would not be places that you would know of in this day and age, but I think you would know them as Turkey and let's see, what else would you be known? Arabia, the Persian area.
How about the Jews?
What?
How about the Jews? Did Jews bother you?
They were part of some of the armies in some ways, but they separated themselves in some ways as well.
So they were on the opposite side, or were they part of your country?
They were part of they were not really conquerors. They were more of, they came in and did a lot of scavenger things, but not in the negative way. They were those that came in to try to perhaps try to rebuild a little bit, but in the process they would take what was left behind.
I see. Did you fight with Egyptians?
The Egyptians were there, but they did not fight us.
I see. How about Indians?
Indians?
Yeah.
The Indians at that time were involved with many other things, so they did not fight us.
I see. How about Russia?
I do not know what that is.
Northerners. How about Northerners?
What?
Northerners, people from the north, Nordic.
Yes, the people from the north came down. The people from the north were hostile.
How developed were they?
They were very strategic. They were very developed in getting what they wanted. They were conquerors. They wanted land. They wanted slaves. They wanted people to work with them, and they were just conquerors. And if you didn't do what they wanted, then you were killed.
Do they have high technologies?
It seemed like they had some kind of technology, yes.
So what was technologies in your country?
The technologies left behind by the Atlanteans were taken. And I mean, they left some things behind, but they came back for them.
I see. So
They wanted no sign. The peoples that were original Atlanteans wanted no one to know anything about their technologies, about what they did, who they were really, except through historical writings of what they did and their advancements. But they wanted no technology of theirs to be left behind.
So your technologies were pretty basic, right?
It was very basic, and it became a little more barbaric after the Atlanteans left for a while, because it was everybody wanted to conquer each other and gain land, and this was the way to show prosperity in these days that we lived in. But I was not part, in my idealistic thoughts, I was not part of the conquering or conquest kind of thought process or idealism. I was not part of that, but I did have to defend myself.
Were you the ruler or just a priest?
I was a priest, but some looked at me as the ruler because I did have some bearing on what happened in the state, in the country.
And did you have communication with angelics and the gods?
Did I have what? Communication with who?
Angelics.
I did not have any communication with the angelics. Not that I know. We did believe in the angels. The angels were something that were very obscure. That we did not ever see them, or they were only rumored to be true or exist. But yes, there was rumors that angels existed.
So did you speak to God?
Of course I spoke to God, but he did not speak back much.
So
Only
what
in my heart, only in my mind.
did you base your teaching on if you didn't have supernatural messages? How did you learn?
Did it by rules and regulations, by structure.
So you build the following.
I believe God is very structured. I believe God is a very caring person and that he works through structure and that he needs to have organization in order for the people to work properly and to be good and healthy. And he needs them to work together and he needs them to be united.
Where did you learn? Did you study? Did you study the previous teachings?
Did I study?
Yeah.
I did study some things, yes. Mostly from the Asian cultures.
How did you do this?
Well, there was travelers to get to from the Asian worlds to the Atlantic places. And so they left many of their books behind and many of their things because they did a much trade with the Atlanteans at some point at the later parts of the culture. And so I did study those and some of the Greek cultures, earlier Greek cultures, and what the Anunnakis had taught.
Did you know how to read?
Of course.
Uh-huh. Did you have an education?
I did not have a proper education. I educated myself for the most part. But my first part of my life, there was some education where I learned how to read in 3 different languages. And reading was the most popular portion of the education. Science was still very small in some ways. Philosophy was very popular. Anthropology was very popular. Learning about the body was very popular. Medicine in early stages and herbology. And these are the things that I learned as a very young man because I had the aptitude for it. But what I had aptitude for was the languages.
Did you know how to read clay tablets of Babylonians?
In Babylonian,
Yeah, there were Babylonians left a lot of clay tablets. Did you know how to read them?
Babylonian was a language that I knew how to understand. I could not write it, but I could listen and know what they were saying.
I see. So how long ago did you live?
How long ago? What?
How long ago was it? How many thousands of years?
I do not know. This is not something that I would pay attention to. The time that I lived in was the time that I lived in, and I made the best of it and worked with it and kept track of the years of my life, which were about 75.
Oh, I see. Have you heard about the Indian god Rama?
You're not very clear.
Have you heard about the Indian god Rama?
Yes, I did.
So you were after him, right?
Yes, I liked all the things that he had to say. Yes.
I'm just trying to time your to define the time of your life. So Rama, you were after Rama. How about Krishna?
The Hindu gods were also available to me as an understanding. I did understand some of the Hindu language and read some of the Sumerian tablets. Cuneiform was not my first language, but in my later years, someone taught me some of the basics of it so that I could read some of the different texts that were there.
All right. So you were after Krishna. How about Ashoka, the King Ashoka of India? Did you hear of him?
It's very hard to hear you.
How about King Ashoka of India? Did you hear about King Ashoka?
No.
I see. Was it after the Jews Egypt? Did the Jewish state already exist? Israel, was Israel there?
Was Israel there?
Yeah, Palestine. Were the Jews in Palestine?
Were the Jews in Palestine? Yes. I've
Uh-huh.
heard many rumors about different things in different places. And I heard about this Israel place, yes. I don't hear you. You are not talking.
I can't hear anymore. Can you ask Jim to unmute himself? I guess we ran out of time. That's why I didn't.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Huh?
I can barely hear you.
Okay. So let me see. So the Egyptian pyramids were already there, and the Jews already left Israel.
Yes.
I see.
That is what I have learned, yes.
I see. How about the Roman Empire? Was it strong?
It had its grasp on every part of the world, it seemed, but it did not have its grasp so tightly that we could not do what we wanted to do. They claimed that they were they claimed that they owned us, but we had our own government, and they put a couple people in place, but they were not strong.
There was a conqueror called Alexander the Great from Macedonia or Macedonia. Did you?
Yes,
Was it? Did you live after him?
I've heard the name, and that's all.
Okay, but it was before Jesus, right?
Correct.
I see. Uh, so did you have? Yeah. So after you left the body, uh, how did you meet the angels, and how was the supernatural world, the world of the dead? How does
This the supernatural world was as I thought it would be in some ways, but it was still an interesting adjustment. I had to really adjust to it because I came from such a harsh place, and it was such a peaceful place that I seemed out of place. But I eventually understood it and was very happy to be there.
are you incarnated now?
No,
I see. But did you incarnate after since your Zoroaster incarnation?
uh, I have, yes.
Are there any names which I would know?
No, I would prefer, I preferred not to be someone of power or interest, but I did have a strong life and a valuable one. The name might be known in secondary thought processes, but not as a main teacher.
I see. Um, thank you very much. We are out of time, but if you like to give us a blessing, I would welcome that.
God of all, strengthen everyone who listens. Lift up those that are fallen. Bring to victory those that are conquered. understand that we are in your power, under your power, and that we ask that you know us individually and help us to be the best that we can be. Sometimes, Lord, we lose track of you. So bring a thought, a love, a passion to us that brings us back alive into your love and understanding. Bring us back into the place of validity that you want us to bear. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Hello?
Hey, Jim, welcome back.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for the session. Let's write over Skype and pick up the date which is good for you, the time of the week which is good for you.
All right. Very good. I will get in touch with you.
All right. Good day.
Good day. Bye. Love you.